Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning indeed. The time is swiftly moving on. It's already just about 11 minutes to go before 7 o'clock. If you're heading out to school or work, you want to make sure you get a move on. Even on my way here this morning, around 5 o'clock, it was already busy outside. So I know people are getting out earlier. You want to make sure that you're on time. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, Marsha Gomes McKee is founder of Caribbean Books Foundation, and they're here to tell us all about an amazing art and story competition that's coming up. Anything to do with books, I'm always very, very interested in. So let's say good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
All
Thank you
right,
for inviting us.
good to have you with
Thank you for
us.
inviting.
Tell us
Yeah,
first of
okay.
all about the Caribbean Books Foundation itself before we get into the competition that's coming up.
Okay. Caribbean Books Foundation was established actually 10 years ago. I established it. I'm an author and I really wanted to see how many books there were in the Caribbean. So at first it was just a catalog. It's a NGO in Trinidad and Tobago, so it's registered in Trinidad and Tobago. So for the first few years, what I would do, I would just catalog the books and I would put it under like different headings. So we have a blog, it's www.caribbeanauthors.wordpress.com, and I would just catalog books I saw written by Caribbean authors under the different countries. Um, so as we progress, every year we try to do something different. In 2021, we started looking at folklore because I love folklore. I absolutely adore folklore, but folklore has always been so scary. And to actually now take that folklore and, for example, help my daughter to understand it, I realized I had to change the folklore a little bit. So the stories can be all that scary. The stories had to be a little different. So when we looked at in 2021, we decided that October, because it's already a traditionally kind of scary month, we would put it as Caribbean Folklore Month. And that month, we would just promote on our social media and our blog. We would promote only books written by Caribbean authors about folklore. So we promote books written by Caribbean authors, usually around the years, any book, any type of book you write, you can reach out to us and we will promote it. And we promote it for free. And these books in October, we we are featuring folklore books.
All right.
So
So
that, yeah,
so they can compete either in the category of art or through a story. So for you though,
yeah.
do you have any stories to share with us from Trinidad? One folklore story to kind of get people thinking about it. Because what you can do is, if you're going to compete in art, then of course it's original work only, and then what you do is you kind of uh, bring out the character or characters through your art, and that's the interesting part
Hmm.
about it. And then in the
Yeah.
story, we're going to talk a little bit about how that works in kind of reimagining it, the story. So give us a little story of folklore, a very popular folklore story from Trinidad.
Well, my go-to story is always Papa Boa. Papa Boa is he's his father forest. He talks to the animals. He protects the animals in the forest. So Papa Boa to me is, when you're thinking about fantasy, folklore, fiction, he could be the next big hero. So when you think about Papa Boa, we want Papa Boa to be reimagined. So when we say reimagine as children, the Papa Boy just was he just born big? You know. So does he just drop out of the sky and now he's Papa Boy? So I want children to start thinking, what if Papa Boy? He was a baby just like you. He grew up. Maybe he went to school. Think of Papa Boy in that way. Think of him if he did go to school. What did his school uniform look like? So we want you not to just draw the Papa Boy that you have, the old Papa Boy in the forest with the animals. We want you to reimagine this character and start to think about the backstory of this character. Did this how this character, if this character was 5 years old, what this character would look like? Would he have little horns instead of big horns? So we're looking at this generation and saying to them, let's reimagine our folklore. Let's make the folklore something that you would want to read about. Let's talk about how this folklore has developed and how you can develop, because folklore is really stories, and we want to get more folklore books coming out. So we want young authors, budding authors, to start thinking about these folklore characters and just watching it and saying to them, you know what, I could make a story about that. What about Papa Boy? Did Papa Boy ever go to school? What would a uniform look like on Papa Boy? So, and then what about maybe the first animal that spoke to him? How did he figure out that he could talk to animals? How did he end up going into the forest and live? So we want the stories to be imaginative, but we also want children to think about, to give the characters more depth and to write something that they would want to read about, not just the traditional Papa Boy is in the forest and he's luring hunters away and he's scaring people. We want we want our folklore to be fantasy fiction, and we want it to be able to cross over to have as many books as possible. So you're looking at just as how you have Thor, just as how you have Spider-Man, and they all have like a story. We have so many wonderful characters in the Caribbean, so many that for the past 3 years that we've been doing it, we're only uncovering more folklore from when we check different islands and we say, well, what's your folklore? And we keep uncovering more and more folklore. And each one of these folklore could actually be is a full story.
All
So
right.
we want any art competition for you not to just draw the Papa Boa of today. We want you to think of Papa Boy when he was younger, and we want, when you're writing your stories, not just think about it from as the Papa Boy of today, but how was he growing up? Something like that.
Right. So bring a story with it, a bit of a modern twist. Well, I know that for some of the folklore stories, they exist across the region, but we know them by different names. Here in Barbados, I don't know if we share a lot of these stories with the younger Barbadians now, but this is a great opportunity. And I think it's a good opportunity even for us during this month, which
Mm-hmm.
usually heading into October, as the rest of the world will look toward
Mm-hmm.
Halloween. I like the idea of making it Caribbean Folklore Month. I absolutely love that because, in a way, that's kind of our own Halloween.
Yes.
And if we can have people coming out dressed in these characters, it would be very interesting. Now, I know, like, you guys talk about the Sukuya, which is the young lady who, like, sheds her skin and turns into a ball of fire and all of this.
Yes.
In Barbados, I think we used to call them the fire hag. Have you heard of that, Somers? Like the fire hag? Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Those stories that we used to hear. Of course, everybody knows about
Mm-hmm.
Anansi, the Anansi stories, Anansi and the
Mm-hmm.
flowers. And Anansi was just a tricky little spider. He was a trickster kind of thing. Um, what else is there here in Barbados? Of course, we call
Barbados
them
also has the
we call them
Hartman.
duppies. What do you call the
Yes.
ghost stories in Trinidad? Here in Barbados, they're
We call them
duppies,
jumbies. We call them
jumbies,
jumbies.
Jumby,
Yes.
Jumby day. Yeah, so by
But
different
we
names,
you
but
know,
certainly similar stories. We have the steel donkey here in Barbados, the
yeah.
Baku.
I don't think we don't, yeah, we don't have a steel donkey we don't have a steel donkey in Trinidad. But I think there's one in Jamaica. We call the baku the buck. So we call it a buck.
A buck. What's the story behind
Yeah.
your Baku?
So a buck is a little man. that you actually you capture or you buy. You go to the most people say you go to Guyana and you get a buck. So you and that person and that yeah, that little person, you keep them in your house and they bring you prosperity.
And you feed them
So and
bananas.
and milk. So they bring you prosperity and you hide them. And then when people realize you're too prosperous, they go and they look to see if they find your buck where you're hiding your buck to steal it. So it's really folklore is so much intrigue and laughter. I remember being young and being so afraid of Isukunia. Oh, that was my go-to. That I think they made sure I stayed inside at night because I was afraid of Isukunia. And it's
All right.
only now that I got older I realized it was a story just to
Yeah.
keep
Well, there are
me from
people.
romance.
There are
You know?
people who will swear by these stories that they saw them.
Yes.
Stories of people who went to meet the devil and all that. But I mean, it
Hmm.
stirred some interesting stories, even in my mind. We definitely have to continue with this. So,
Yes. It's
talking about the story for people who are going to enter, the length is 600 to 800 words. Children for the story competition must be between 8 and 14 years old. Again, it must be
yes.
original works. So you get the story together, and it will be featured during October's Caribbean Folklore Month with acknowledgments.
Hmm.
With the art, you can use your colored pencils, paints, pastels, charcoal, clay, anything. Any artist rendering is accepted. Again, 8 to 14 years, original artwork only, and it will be featured during the month. Marcia, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us. We have lots more to do because we have to continue sharing these stories of folklore from across the region
Definitely.
with a
Hmm.
whole
We
new
definitely have to
generation.
keep on. Yeah, it's a whole new generation, a
Yeah,
whole new stories and promote
yeah.
them. And I think there's an entire industry just waiting to explode with this with
All
folklore.
right. So, is there a website people can go to? I'm not seeing a website here, or a Facebook page, an
Our
Instagram page that they can find out more information.
Yeah, so if we're at www.caribbeanauthors.wordpress.com, that's our blog. So if you go, you click on the homepage, you only decide, you will see submit art competitions and submitting. If you need further information, it's Caribbean Books Foundation at gmail.com. You could email us there. And we're on Facebook and Instagram. Same thing, Caribbean Books Foundation. Look for Caribbean Books Foundation and you'll find us.
All right. Well,
So
thank you
all the
so
information
very
is there.
much. Thank you for sharing. We're going to share another time, though, because I'm thinking about all these stories. My Guyanese grandmother had lots of stories for us, too. So, so
Yes,
I
so
definitely
many
have a lot
stories.
of those stories. So good stuff. Great to speak with you. Good to have you with us. We also
Thank you
had a
so
lot
much
of
for having me.
relatives who moved to Trinidad, so we have a lot of those
Yes.
Trinidadian
We,
stories
we
as
have
well.
well, Trinidad is on holiday today. We had Republic Day yesterday, and because it was on a Sunday, we get the Monday off. So we are
All
enjoying an
right.
extra day today.
Well,
Yeah.
enjoy your holiday in Trinidad.
Yes.
I am playing Problem Child's song for you today. All my Trini people.
Okay.
Today's a holiday. Have a good one. Great to speak with you.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
wonderful. That's
Have-
Marsha Gomes McKee, founder of Caribbean Books Foundation. Make sure you check it out for the Caribbean Books Foundation Art and Story Competition. We are, presenting Caribbean folklore to a whole new generation. Hey, we're going to take a break for news and come on back. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.